some games like that the past couple of years to come up on the short end of them. Is it nice to win one despite there being some obvious issues? Is it nice to win one of those?
It is, and you know what? Obviously, you guys have seen us more than anybody, and there's nights when that ball goes in and you feel like, man, we're really, really good. I think when you win a game like this, I think there's no question both teams played as hard as they could play. Every possession was a grind, and for us to, again, I kept reminding the team last night because, we're around our guys, we know them. I said, hey, if we will just play great defense and rebound the ball on both ends, we'll always give ourselves a chance, and reminded them that we beat Maryland early in the year when we shot 29%. And but both teams played extremely hard, and I thought we had some good looks at the basket, and you guys have watched us, and sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't, but the way that we grinded this one out, and again, the crowd was great, but really, really, really happy with Jemai Meshack. I thought his minutes were really critical. After every game, one of the biggest thoughts that goes through my mind about him is how can I get him in the game, more minutes, because he does so many great things when he's out there. I thought our front line, Uros came off the bench, helped us. Jonas, Tobey, those guys were terrific. And then Josiah's rebounding were big, and plus when we were struggling, I thought his offensive game in the mid-range really helped us get it going. And you'd like to think if you can make some of those shots around the rim, and again, they're not easy, but if you can make the ones that you need to make, it opens it up for those perimeter guys, because there's no doubt when you're struggling, those shots can take it out of you. It really can. But the way our guys just kept fighting and fighting, and they fought, Auburn fought, but defensively, rebounding, and everyone that played had a role in it.
Rick, what did you see on that final possession?
I haven't seen it. I really haven't seen it yet. It looked like where I was standing, I was straight up, but the rule is like when the call on Santi early, or I think Zakai, anytime you go from point A to point B, it's a foul. Anytime you go from point B to point A, it's a foul, and then there's that neutral area there. I guess in the opinion of the official right there, O stayed vertical, and but I haven't seen it.
Rob, then Mike, then Ryan.
Coach, you talk a lot about your guys not getting hung up on missing shots, but just getting lost in the game. Did you feel like today that was a good example of that?
Well, again, because we had some wide open shots, and I actually told Santi one time we came out and executed a play as well as we can execute it, and he had as wide open as look as he's had in a month, and he didn't shoot it and threw it inside, and turned it over, but he was down there. I mean, Santi's man was down there. That's what we've got to get out of. We've got to continue to take our shots, whether they're going in or not. Trust our court balance. Trust the fact that we've got guys that we're going to make the effort to go try to rebound it. But we have got to take open shots. And you go back, and when you break down, and we're in that area where I think we're going to learn from it and keep getting better. Oftentimes when we throw the ball in the post, the people guarding us on the perimeter don't even think about coming down to choke it out. Just letting those guys play down there. And we do need our post guys to deliver some of those baskets to make teams adjust to it. And then what happens if players sense it, coaches sense it, when guys are open or not shooting the ball, then the defense say, okay, we're going to really back up and force you into doing that. So there's a lot of things going on within a game that players have to work through, coaches have to work through, but again, it's February. You look around the country, there's a lot of teams that struggle this time of year, especially in conference play, because you know each other so well. And baskets are hard to come by, but I'm sure Bruce will look at his tape and think, hey, we got the shot we wanted, we didn't make it. We'll certainly do the same thing. It's a player's game, always has been, always will be, and we just got to continue to try to improve on the things that we need to improve on.
Rick, you referenced Tobey and Jemai. What were the things that you got out of them today that were so significant?
Just their effort, their competitive spirit. I mean, they come in the game, they're flying around, just their pursuit of the basketball. And then defensively, again, Tobey is getting better and better on the perimeter, learning how to guard. Offensively, some of those passes that go in there are tough to handle in traffic, but he'll get better with that. But just the tenacity to go rebound the basketball, and both of them bring a sense of physicality. And in a game like this, if you're not playing, and I think Bruce would probably say the same thing, if you're not locked in on the defensive end, it's not a game for you, because both teams were being physical and working hard on that end.
You just touched on it a little bit, but how would you describe the physicality in this game?
I think that's what you expect this time of year. I do. I think you expect it within our league. I don't think there's a more physical league in the country than this league, and especially with coaches that have coached against each other for a while. You know, there's not a lot of secrets. You know, I mean, coaches are always going to try to get guys going and hope you can. If not, you got to move on to somewhere else. But it's hard fought. It really was. I thought after we didn't start very well, obviously, because I think O missed 4 or 5 straight shots in there, and I give it to his teammates, because you know what, the one thing they said, they wanted to be able to play inside out. They didn't get frustrated with it. They showed confidence, and they threw the ball back in there with him. And then after that first 10 points, we really our defense was good, and we just, again, that's who we are. And I'd like to, I think both coaches would love to see us score points, but both teams have struggled at times this year, like a lot of other teams in this league, to score baskets.
Coach, in a game where every possession matters, have a guy like Josiah, a veteran guy, go out there and get 14 rebounds, just what does it do for the rest of the team? And knowing every possession matters, and got to get those second chances.
Well, it's what we talk about as much as anything, about how can you impact winning when you're not shooting the ball well. You can always impact it on the defensive end. You can always impact it by rebounding the ball the way he does. You can impact it by getting second shots. And that's what he does. You know, and again, I thought when we were like throughout the whole game, I mean, some of his mid-range plays were huge plays where I thought he went inside and jumped up and made a couple shots, and it certainly kept us in the game. But it was with his experience, we expect him to find a way to impact winning, which he does obviously most of the time.
Broome had 6 quick points and had 5 the rest of the 35 minutes. I guess just what changed defensively for you all to kind of slow them down after a fast start?
Well, I like to think the fact that we kept throwing bodies in there, you know, and he's a really good player. You know, he really is. He can do some stuff around the rim, score the ball. But I think the bigger lineup was more effective today. The length in there was important. I think it's the first time all year that at one time we had Josiah out there with Julian and a bigger lineup. But overall, when I think about our post defense and our length, I mean, it's hard to score around the rim. It's hard on. I mean, they got a shot blocker. They got guys that can play above the rim, and but I do think, I mean, both teams were trying to get it close to the basket to get fouled or try to score, because it didn't seem like any team could make a shot from the perimeter throughout the game. And I'm proud of our post guys, because it's not an easy team to defend.
Kind of going off that back to your coach and back
Yeah.
here. After the Florida game, you said that your post players have to do a better job of cutting off angles when they played Colin Castleton. How did you feel they did that against Broome tonight?
I thought that we were much more locked in with our post guys defensively there. I thought that, you know, tendencies started coming in, but we knew how we wanted to play Colin Castleton, and we didn't do it. And we were too undisciplined reaching. I don't think we reached tonight in the post very much. I thought we stayed down for the most part. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but again, our post guys had their work cut out for them tonight, and they battled.
Rick, after this week of kind of the 2 offensive performances, how do you feel about where this team is at offensively? How do you summarize winning and losing the games?
You know what? Tom sent me a stat, analytic, where, what was the stat? 75% of our shots? 70% of our shots were high percentage shots against Florida. And we made, what, 20-some% of them?
Yeah.
20-some% of them.
The stat was that with the shots that we took.
With the shots we took.
70% of the time.
But the shots that we should make, you know, we didn't make. And again, I think you guys would agree. I think our players would agree. We have some shots tonight we need to make. But when it's not, again, I'm really proud of our guys for staying locked in defensively. And again, I think the bench helped us, because we were able to get guys some rest because every possession, as mentioned, is a tough one. But I just know that if we'll, again, keep going, get some of those shots to go down, it can give us a chance to get loose and I think settle in. But we're going to be in games like this, whether both teams score in the 60s possession games, and we just got to be able to make the majority of those high percentage shots that we can make.
Reese, to finish up with Grant.
You talked a little bit about Tobey. What have you seen from his development? I've seen you ride him hard in practice. What have you seen from his development that made him come out in this game and perform?
Well, I would say to you, what you see him do, he's one of those guys that does it every day in practice. He really works at it. He really works at it. He's got a great ability to go rebound the ball, but where he's gotten better is understanding the urgency of being able to do a lot more on the basketball court than he's probably ever been asked to do. And he's really starting to understand the game, and he's going to battle. He's going to fight for his position, and he's learning how to do that on the defensive end as well. But I think our guys would tell you that when he's out there, they know that he's going to bring some physicality and do whatever he has to do to get guys open, and he can duck in. He can score the ball. He can, and he had a couple of offensive rebounds today that were big.
What do you need from Zakai to get back to the production that he had the last 3 or 4 weeks?
Well, again, as the season goes on, people will game plan. What will help him as much as anything if he can get some people around him scoring some baskets. That'll help him as much as anything. Where when guys are open, they shoot their shots, and when he throws it inside, guys can finish some of those. Where you make people adjust. I mean, obviously he has the ball in his hand a lot, and we trust him with it, and he's gotten so much better there. But we just need the balance that we know that we can get, but we got to get it. And you guys have often asked me what I think we got to do to get better, and the one word it comes down to is consistency. What can we look for every night and expect? You know, I certainly don't expect Zakai to go 0 for 10 or 0 for 7. He had 9 assists, 3 turnovers, and 2 of them he was trying to put the ball inside there. But again, we got guys, and I just have confidence in them. We're going to find a way to work our way out of this. I really believe that.
Thank you, Coach.
Great, thank you guys.
Thank you.